Battleline podcast, you guys have been waiting for this episode 100, and I believe I'm going to say you delivered, Chris, not we delivered, because this was a contact from you, and that's none other than Master Sergeant Howard Mad Max Mullen, Ranger Hall of Fame inductee from 2013. And I said it during the interview we recorded, but a legend in the community, indisputably.
Yeah, and he's still killing it. He'd be 63 years young, and the dude looks like he's 30. But he's still the most humble individual in the world. But honestly, I think you could throw him in gear and put him in a door, and he could still do the job over and over again. And he epitomizes what a Ranger is. Really, to me, that's when you talk about Ranger Battalion, the 75th Ranger Regiment, and then also Ranger School. That's who you put up there. That's like, okay, this is what you aspire to be, is like this guy. And he's still out there inspiring people, with his foundations. And if you haven't had a chance to hear him speak before, he's a tremendous public speaker. But you're in the action. Like if you're in the front row and you hear him speak, you're going to be part of the show. So if you ever get a chance to go see Mad Max speak, because you'll leave like feeling. You will leave motivated. Tremendous guy. Yep.
You could tell. So we're excited for you guys to hear this, and we have great sponsors who keep us doing this every week and keep us bringing entertainment and great content for you guys that hopefully will inspire you. And I feel inspired because I've been getting a good night's sleep. I'm always well rested, and I don't get anxiety anymore. And really, a lot of that is thanks to Ned. CBD, I became a true believer when they came on board with us, and I started taking it regularly. It really does ease any anxiety for guys in the community of post-traumatic stress. It has helped with that. And yeah, for me, especially with sleep. So Ned produces the highest quality full spectrum CBD extracted from organically grown hemp plants, all sourced from an independent farm in Paonia, Colorado. Ned is a wellness brand offering science-backed and nature-based solutions that offer an alternative to prescription and over-the-counter drugs. And they don't cut corners. They really have the fullest, most transparent CBD out there in the market. So I know that there's all different brands out there, but if you're looking to get started and you haven't tried them yet, their full transparency with their third-party lab reports and who farms their products, you really are not going to go wrong with them. And you can just start with the smallest dose that they have, and you'll notice these effects subtly, because it won't get you high, but it will help you fall asleep, and it will keep your mind at ease. It has for me, certainly.
And it, whether you take it or you use the body butter, it helps out with inflammation. Me, still an avid runner. I still work out quite a bit. I just a personal story. I pulled my calf and my hamstring. It was three weeks ago during the Indiana course, teaching the Indiana course. But I had other courses I had to do, and I wanted to keep working out. And I'll be honest, that body butter helped work better than any analgesic that I've ever taken. And it helped numb the pain, but just help with the healing process. And I healed quicker. And, the CBD oil, even taking the CBD oil internally, yes, it gets you leveled out. It helps you with your emotions, but even taking that in, it helps, just like if you would take an over-the-counter medication for inflammation of the joints, for pain. And it really did help out. So it was better than taking Tylenol. So, guys, not just as far as getting your emotional state, but just your everyday wellness. They have a bunch of products on there that you need to look at. And that body butter, I swear by that stuff. It's amazing. And it doesn't smell like icy hot. You're not smelling like an old man like myself. And it works.
Chad Solomon, who we had on the show, is an Ironman competitor. He also swears by the body butter. And if you're training for an Ironman and running an Ironman and swimming and biking, and it helps you, I mean, it's going to help anybody, because those guys put their bodies through hell. If you want to check out Ned and try their CBD for yourself, we have a special offer for the Battleline audience. Go to helloned.com/Battleline. That link is in the description, or enter the code Battleline at checkout for 15% off your first one-time order, or 20% off your first subscription order, plus free shipping. That's HELLONED.com/Battleline to get 15% off your first one-time order, or 20% off your first subscription order, plus free shipping. Thank you, Ned. And with that, let's get into Mad Max right here, Howard Mullen.
From Omaha, Nebraska to New York City. From planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space. A podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Twitch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
You know, Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battleline podcast.
The switch is on. Battleline podcast. We've been teasing this out for quite a bit. Episode 100. And Max, your name got thrown to me really by Chris. We were racking our brains with who do we have on for the big episode 100. And he said, let's have Max Mullen on. Mad Max Mullen, Ranger Hall of Fame inductee 2013, Master Sergeant. I mean, your resume is huge. I'll list a few things here. Served in 175th, 275th, 375th and 75th Ranger Regimental Headquarters.
He kept getting kicked out every damn battalion. So he just kept going down the line. It's like, well, we don't want him. We'll give him there. Let's give him. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. The Ranger guys will get that. They'll understand that, man. But everybody else.
And sure. And as we were speaking before we started recording as well, I should mention board member at the Ranger Memorial, the Silent Warrior Foundation. We'll get into the action figures, but before we get into everything, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on, and we couldn't think of anyone better for episode 100.
Yeah, bro.
Well, thank you. I'm humbled to be here, and thank you for the invite, Ian, and you, my brother Chris, like no other.
Of course, man. No, this was all. I mean, I just can't. I'll be honest. I can't believe we hadn't had on you soon. Have you on sooner? Sorry, guys. I fell asleep and I'm waking up right now, so I'm mumbling really bad. And I usually talk like I'm really not real smart anyway. So give me a second while the coffee kicks in. But no, seriously, I was like thinking, man, we haven't had Max on. Like, how the hell have we had Shannon Rich on? How did we not have Max, Matt, and Shannon? If you're listening, you get this. And Max, you get this too. It's like, how have we not had Mad Max on and we had Shannon on before him? I love you, Shannon, but come on, dude. Ranger Hall of Famer, dude, and we haven't had him on yet. So it honestly worked out great because, you're the perfect one for 100th episode, in my opinion, and from the lineage we share. Dude, you're a legend, man. So love to have you on. This is awesome.
Well, thank you again. I'm humbled to be here.
Oh, of course, brother.
But I think the first thing that would be great to get into is just your background. Really, a lot of the guys who we have on who are special operations, who are Army Rangers, we love getting into that origin story. And I know you're a guy who served really prominently in the 80s and 90s. What was it that drove you to be an Army Ranger growing up as a kid? What basically inspired you to go down that path?
This may sound crazy, but I thought I was born to be a soldier.
Coming from you, dude?
Yeah.
No, coming from you sounds crazy. What?
My dad, he was in the Army. My dad, he was an Army. He was an Army band, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the crazy thing about my dad, one of the biggest influences in my life. He was an amazing man. He went to the famous black college, Florida A&M, right?
Yeah.
And he was a rattler, the Florida A&M rattler. Yeah. He was in a March 100 band. He dated Althea Gibson in college. She was the first. She won the Wimbledon, the first Black American to win the Wimbledon. Professional tennis.
Wow.
He played with Ray Charles for a bit after he got out of college. Then he joined the Army. And he played at JFK's inauguration. And he also played at Eisenhower's funeral.
Wow.
And my dad was an amazing musician, very humble. And he really motivated me. But he was stationed in Okinawa.
Okay.
And I was around 5 years old. And at that time, the 173rd Airborne Brigade just stood up there on Okinawa. And they had just before they went to Vietnam in '64, I believe it is, they deployed to Vietnam. That's when they really started getting into the mix. But they were there, and they had an organization day. And I remember as a kid vividly, it had like a little a little mock tower, little miniature mock tower, and I remember they put me in a harness, and the sergeant said, "Hey, you ready?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm ready." He said, "Call me sergeant." And he said, "When you go down there, I want you to holler Geronimo." I said, "Okay." I said, "Geronimo." Went down there, and I was hooked. Right? I was hooked. And I remember our babysitter, right? This is when the first Special Forces group was there on Okie. And our babysitter, her husband, he was Special Forces. And he put a green beret on my head when I was 5 years old. I'll never forget that. And I was hooked. He said, "You want to be Special Forces?" "Yeah, I want to be Special Forces." And I remember my mom, she went nuts. And I remember I jumped off our house. It was a one story with an umbrella, Howling Airborne. She went nuts. My sister said, "Mama, step outside." I jumped and, fell into the hedges and, knocked my front teeth off in the rocket chair, Howling Airborne. And I was hooked from there. I was hooked.
That's amazing. So from the band though, your father's in the band. Did he try to push you to go to that route, or would you like, "No, I'm going airborne"? And then you're talking about Special Forces. You ended up being a Ranger Battalion, but where did the decision to go to Ranger Battalion outside of Special Forces or just be a paratrooper? So I guess two questions there. Did your father like, "No, dude, here's a trumpet. You need to go play the trumpet. Get out of here." Or you're not jumping out of airplanes. I want you to play the trumpet. And then was it when you got in the Army that you said, "You know what? I think I'm going to do the Rangers and not go SF or not just be a paratrooper and I'm gonna go to battalion"? How'd that work out?
Well, it's crazy because then back in '68, he was stationed at Fort Sheridan, right?
Okay.
An Army band.
Yep.
And the movie John Wayne and the Green Berets came out, right, back in '68. And as a kid, we went there on a Saturday matinee and saw just about for the whole month, every Saturday, went there to watch it. That's one of my all-time favorites. And so the 7th Special Forces group had a recruiting A-team there around a month later. We hung around those guys. I still wanted to be SF. And so then the big change came when I joined the Army. I joined the Army back in 1976, right out of high school. And so I went to the recruiter. Back then, they didn't have the option of going SF.
Okay.
And I really didn't know too much about the Rangers. And so my first duty station was Korea, right?
All right.
And I met Major General David E. Grange. He was a division commander there. And I remember I was 11 Charlie, and we were on an exercise called Team Spirit 78. And he said, "Hey, the CG's coming down. He's going to come, he's coming out there, flying out to the field, checking on the soldiers." So he landed out there, and I was just a young PFC, and he came to our gun track. And I remember General Grange, that's who the best Ranger competition named after. I'll never forget it, Chris. He had these 2 stars on his jump wings, represented 2 combat jumps in World War II and Sukchan. And I saw that Ranger tab, and I saw the 2 stars on the CIB. And I said, "Damn," I thought I want to be a Ranger.
and great, Grange, that dude, that's like talking like Colonel Darby. That's like talking, Frank Merrill. You're talking, that's the godfathers of Ranger Battalion. I mean, there's legends, but then there's guys like Darby and Grange and Merrill and guys like that are like, holy crap, they're the top of the food chain right up there. And you had a chance just to be around guys like that. I mean, it shows why you became, and we'll get to it, but why you became as great as you did in the Ranger Battalion as well, brother. And so when your career ended, and then so you're in Korea, so you've got through. We haven't even talked. I even wanted to get a little bit about your basic training. So let's back up a little bit. I know we go through stories and we go through things, but I want to know the craziest story at your basic training, if there was one, because you went through when people were still getting thrown around. I mean, I went through in the '90s and people were getting thrown around. You went through what? Well, I'm not trying to get your age out there, brother, but you went through in the '80s.
Yeah.
Give me a crazy, and a lot of guys, crazy basic training, and put things into perspective of how maybe basic training is today and compares to back then.
I'll be honest, basic training now it's a flipping joke. The Army's woke. But anyway, back in '76, I came in '76, right? And you got to remember the Vietnam War just over. You had the USS Maguez incident happened in '75.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so it was during that time. And I remember a lot of that stuff, right? The Maguez incident, Koting Island. And so when I went to basic training, you got to remember the war had just over. So you had a lot of Vietnam vets still there.
You got angry drill sergeants. You got pissed off drill sergeants. Oh, yeah.
They were pissed.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the things that them drill sergeants did to us back then, you know, they're probably just not be getting out of Leavenworth. But I remember that the craziest story was we were at the reception center, you know, wait when the drill sergeant's going to pick us up. And I remember the drill sergeants came to pick us up. They had their starch khakis on,
Yep.
you know, the round brown. They're really nice to us. And we got on. They just drove us around the Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. They just drove us around for around an hour. Like, where the hell are we going? You know, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And we finally pulled up. You were in a cattle truck. They packed us in there way beyond the safety capacity.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, when those doors open, you hear that pneumatic sound.
Yeah.
And I was packed on the top rafter. And I'll never forget a drill sergeant, Gore. He looked at me and I just smiled, said, "Hi, sir." And he turned beet red. He started shaking and he just went berserk. And you just saw nothing but just green bodies just flow out. It's like a Niagara Fall, like a dam burst. And he started hollering and screaming, and we got in formation. And it was total chaos. And no matter where you turn, a drill sergeant just appeared. Damn, where the hell did he come from?
Yeah.
And it was just absolute madness, you know, with brass drills, guerrilla drills, whistle drills, dump your bag, pack your bag, fry shape, the whole 9 yards. It was absolutely insanity.
But those, you know, those things make you. I remember those too. The beginning, the first days, getting off the cattle cars, and yeah, the dump. You know, that was one thing that I hadn't remembered. That bringing them back is the bag jumps, the bag dump drills, and then especially at Ranger School we'll do those things. But we'll get to that too. But just the craziness and for the put it in perspective, guys. If you don't know what the bag dumps, you have your C bags, your D bags, your bags that you're carrying, your Army duffel bags, and basically you're dropping your bags, making sure you have all, because you get a packing list before you go, and it doesn't matter if you have everything in your packing list, you're going to be missing something. You're never right. Dude, and it's just a smoke fest for hours. Never right. Hours now. When were you at Leonard? So was that the summer though? Because and you were Fort Lost in the Woods, so you had to drive around for hours. That's why you're at Leonard Wood, man.
You're talking about
so you're there when it's hot and muggy and humid in Missouri. Yeah,
it was ugly.
That's well, you know, continuing on and things. And Ian, stop me when you got something, brother. Stop when you.
No, this is great. I mean, I love hearing, and I think the audience loves hearing about, what made these guys who they are, because everybody knows you as Ranger Hall of Fame, and I think people do want to hear these stories. So back to what you were asking.
Well, even as you're coming up, brother, you got through basic training. Now, you had to go to a straight leg unit first, right? You didn't go right to airborne school after basic. You went to a straight leg unit because you were a mortar guy. I live in Charlie. So how did that end up where you ended up going to Ranger Battalion? Because that's not an easy path if you don't have. And then again, now granted, it was different. I think you didn't have RIP contracts or RASP contracts or Option 40s back then. So how did that work back then? Just to get to the 75th Ranger Regiment at the time, after going from a straight leg unit or even an airborne unit.
Well, it goes back to General Grange, believe it or not, because at that time he said, "What you want?" I said, "Sir," he said, "What do you want to do with your life?" I said, "I want to be a Ranger." And he said, "You sure you want to be a Ranger?" Then he said, "Yeah, you know." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "My son," which was, Lieutenant General Grange, who retired. He said, "My son served in the L Company Rangers. He's also a platoon leader in the 1st Ranger Battalion." And he said, "You sure you want to be a Ranger?" I said, "Yes, sir, I want to be a Ranger." Then he told his aide to come here, and he said, "Danny, take this young man's information." And that aide was Captain Danny McKnight.
Oh, Danny. Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
that's Black Hawk Down McKnight.
Black Hawk Down McKnight. And so it's funny how these people are going full circle. So he took my information down. And so then around 6 months later, I did the EIB, and though General Grange came up there, because I was an army unit, because 11 Charlie's, support the armor.
Yep.
And so General Grange said, he's pinning my EIB on. He said, "You sure you still want to be around?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I ain't forgot about you." And I thought he forgot about it. And he said, "Danny's going to make sure you get all the information that you need." I said, "Thank you, sir." And so then Captain McKnight, he said, this is what you need to be successful, go to the Ranger School. So then my first duty station after less career with the 101st Airborne, right? Mm-hmm. And so then right then and there, I said, I got to go to Rangers. I got to be a Ranger. And so back then, the step for being a Ranger, you had to put in a 4187, right? And then you had to put in 4187. You had to take an airborne PT test. Then you had to take a Ranger PT test. And at that time, the units did the test.
Okay.
And so then you had this AR pamphlet that had all these skill 1 level prerequisites that you're supposed to be, proficient in. And so I put it in, and so then I got, I got my orders, and so it said I was assigned to the 1st Ranger Battalion, 1st 75th Ranger Battalion at Hunt Army Airfield. And so back then, right, then I made E5 I went before the E5 board with 18 months in the Army.
Wow.
I made E5 exactly 2 years.
That's
right
quick,
on the dot.
man. Yeah, that's fast.
And so I left Korea with an MSM as a corporal. I didn't even know what an MSM was, and General Green signed off on it.
Wow.
And so here I am with
you guys want to get
I'm sorry, MSM Meritorious Service Medal, and that's something usually, I mean,
sure.
If you have good standing, good service, and Max can speak even better than I can because he was in the military, being a Master Sergeant, but you usually have to have a longer time in service to get that award. Usually it's not in 2 years. Matt, is it 5 years? I don't know what it is now. Is it like normally, at least have 4 or 5 years in to get that?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. Normally at E7 and above gets it.
Yeah,
cool.
And so
I always just like to get the audience up to speed because Chris will tell you, I'd say about half our audience are civilian, about half are veterans. So
and I forget
getting everybody up.
We use proper acronyms. Do explain acronyms?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I forgot. Sorry, dude. That's why Ian's here. He's like, okay, dude, guys, slow down. You're losing.
This guy doesn't know every acronym.
What is this?
I've learned some of them.
But yeah, keep going, dude. So yeah, you're going first bat. You got your MSM,
right?
And you're and that's where we're into. So what happened, man?
And so then I had orders, so I went straight to airborne school. And so from then you go from airborne school, then you go straight to Ranger school, then you go to the Ranger battalions.
Oh, so there wasn't at that time there wasn't like an end, and that's what I knew it from back then. It just was so weird back then. There wasn't really like an induct. There wasn't a RASP or a RIP at that time. You got induct basically going to the battalion. So when you got to your battalion, they vetted so first bat vetted their own guys, second bat vetted their own guys, third bat vetted their own guys, and basically, okay, I got it. I'm tracking. So what that means, guys, is for all you out there that don't understand it, Max, when I went in, you signed up for a RIP contract, or what they do now is you basically, after basic training, go to airborne school, you go to the 75th Ranger Regiment headquarters, and it's a tryout. You try out, where Max is saying back then, you basically, you're in the unit, but I'm assuming, and from the stories I've heard from guys at your time, your lineage, it was pretty much hell because there wasn't really being vetted, but you were getting hazed like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, keep going, man. Because I want to hear about these hazing stories. Because I heard they were just ungodly, unbearable. I mean, just brutal hate. And don't be afraid to tell people. You're not going to go to prison. We'll edit out anything. That's statutes of limitations are long past. They're full on. Yeah, they're good. So because I want to hear those stories, because it's admirable to me to be like, man, I thought I went through when it was hard when I went through. I heard you guys' stories because there was really no oversight. So you guys were getting just hammered relentlessly as Ranger privates. And so, but you were an E5 at the time. So was it any different before you went in?
Yeah. I have to back up a little bit. I went to airborne school was a lot different than it is now.
It was harder.
Harder. Oh, hell, a lot harder. You had, we had inspections every morning. And in-range inspections, and those black hats, they didn't play. They're some of the most professional black hats. Those guys, they appear every morning. They were strapped from head to toe.
Well, weren't a lot of those guys from Vietnam paratrooper units? So a lot of those, those guys were paratrooper units were no joke back then. They were, 82nd, 101st. They were in the shit. Yeah, they were in the. Okay, yeah, man. I was going to ask about that too. The airborne school, the difference, because it honestly, when I went through, even in the 90s, it was easy. I didn't think it was that hard. I mean, so yeah, tell us some stories from airborne school. I'd like to know some.
I remember in airborne school, you had your 0 week waiting for the class to fill up, and the airborne tax, they ran us to death, and it wasn't under this, 7 to 8 minute per.
It wasn't airborne. It wasn't airborne show.
Oh, it was fast. Oh, it was like brutal. Either march or die. And I remember one time it took us on a run, and it's something like, I think the heat index probably around 90, almost 100. And this is talking about on 06 in the morning. Yeah. And we got back and I almost blacked out. I mean, I saw the darkness closing in, and he said, Addy, shake it out. I went to one knee, and I said, geez. And so I made it through airborne school, and airborne school was very challenging back then. very challenging. The females in one platoon, they just started the females. They had their own platoon, and they didn't cut us any slack. The airborne instructors, very professional. So then I was on orders to go to first bat, right? I mean, go straight to Ranger school from airborne school. And so I tried to tell her, I said, look, I'm supposed to go to Ranger school, which started the next week. No, you got orders to go to first bat. I said, after Ranger school. I said, get on the damn bus. So I get on the bus. So I get to Hunter. And back then they had they had pre-ranger. Yeah. They had a pre-ranger course, right? And all this was over at Sabre Hall.
Okay.
And so then like NCOs and officers would come, they would go there, they get their issue and stuff, then they get assigned to the company. So I get there as an E5 tablets, and I tried to tell them, say, hey, look, I'm supposed to go to Ranger school, and they snatch my orders and never. I'm not going to say his name. Is snatch my orders. I said, well, you're going to go to pre-range. I said, no, my class start next week. And so the guy was livid, and he was like, looked at me like, you mother effer, now we got to waste a damn slot. I said, look, it's not my fault. And so I felt a lot of hate, right? And he said, you're probably going to pass it anyway. So I went there with hate on me. Then he saw my MSM. He said, how the hell you get an MSM? I said, I don't know. I mean, they awarded it to me. And so he goes to my 201 file thinking I'm a dude, don't get mad at me.
Yeah. Well, but that's all, because I remember battalion. I know you're the same way when you became an RI. We'll get to the RI stuff, but it's hard because everybody's got to go through what you did before. I mean, I went through it, so you got to go through
write a passage, right?
Yeah, and so when somebody skips it, I'll be honest. If I was that guy looking at your order sheet, I'd be like, this son of a bitch. How is he getting all this shit? No way. He's got to go through the same shit that I went through. But did you manage, or did you have to stay and do the 3-week pre-range, or did you get to school?
They put me on the bus and I went straight to Ranger school.
All right.
And the thing about it, it was a motivating factor because I said, I'm going to show this guy.
Yeah.
And so I get there, and the crazy thing about it is, so we get there, and Ranger school, as you see now, and then is like it's not even the same. I don't know what you call it now, but Ranger school back in the day, they didn't joke. So I remember my day one we got there. We were in a hotel, so we got we went over there to Ranger Joe's and got all the little knickknacks and stuff that you need. And so we report day one, and we're over in the old area, not the area it's currently at now, the old area.
You're over back in was it still Kelly Hill? Was that what it was back in the day, or was it somewhere else?
Where they do the best Ranger steaks at.
Okay, gotcha.
That's where the Ranger school used to be at. At that time, it's called the 3rd Ranger Company.
Okay,
right.
Wow.
This is before RTB. It's called 3rd Ranger Company, Ranger School. And then
for everybody out there, guys, it's Fort Benning. We're in Fort Benning, Georgia, right now, right? It still was at Fort Benning. You started Benning. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And so at that time, so they put us in the barracks, and I remember our tax. Matter of fact, one of my class tax was Sergeant Ramsey. He was inducted to the Ranger Hall of Fame, I believe, last year.
Wow.
He was inducted to the Ranger Hall of Fame. He was my class tax, and so that first night, they had us lay all our stuff out. And back then, in Ranger eyes, you had to sew them on. You had to sew your cat eyes on.
I remember. Yeah.
You know the drill.
Hey,
right?
tell everybody what the cat eyes are. Tell them what they are, man. What they're for. It's a lot of people won't know what that is. Even some guys that have been in the Army probably don't. So tell them what the cat eyes are.
The cat eyes are 2 luminous tapes that glow in the dark that you sew in the back of your patrol cap. We call it a patrol cap. We call it a PC, and it had to be sewn specifically with 2, 4, 6, 8 with 10 square knots, 2 half hitches, right, perfectly. And then it takes you have to use dental floss, and it probably took a good hour to do it, if not more. If you have fingers like thumbs, and so then you had to lay everything out exactly the same. And so the class tech will come in, he'll look at the first bunk and said, it's not the standard. I'll be back in an hour. And we were like, what the hell, dude? Back then, you didn't, we tried to look, we drew sketches. And he comes back in an hour and he goes to the second bunk and said, oh, no, not the standard. No, I'll be back in another hour. So by then it's around 100, 1 o'clock in the morning. He comes in and said, okay, good to go. He didn't even expect everybody. And so we get in the bunk. Then no more than an hour later, all hell broke loose. At this time, he had what they call the Morgan team. And the Morgan team were hell on wheels. Morgan team, they came into the barracks like a SWAT team, taking down a crack meth house. And throwing artillery simulators under the buildings and just hollering and throwing garbage cans down the hallway.
Garbage can, yeah.
Get the F out, and so you see a big mass mob, half naked, half dressed, Rangers just falling down the steps, rolling. Guys are completely naked, guys in their skivvies and their t-shirts low crawling, and we're in formation. And then the tactic just went nuts. Said, get the hell back in and get dressed. You got 15 minutes. And we run back in there. We get dressed. Then they took us over there. And then that's when it really started. They PT'd the hell out of us. They ran us. The run was as fast as a Ranger instructor can go. So you're talking about a 6-minute mile.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing Rangers fall out left and right, like somebody threw a frag grenade in a formation. You're seeing carcasses getting thrown on the back of the fallout truck. And the only thing he said, I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall. I get back, the poor saps that didn't make the run. Oh my goodness. They had to go through more hell. And so the rest of us, they get back to the barracks, shower down, hose hung up. You got 30 minutes. And then you ran through the chow hall. And they just slapped it on our plate. We just ate and just kept going. Move. Yeah, you finished. Go. Boom, boom.
I remember that. I do. I do. And that's I get it's people watch the movies and they think you watch the SEALs and the Hell Week and all that. Every branch has it, and that's what it reminded me of. And that was just one of the things. Ranger School was just part of the Hell Week. When I went through RIP, we had our first Hell Week was the first. And one thing that I admired when I went through though is I could ask guys like yourself what to expect, and whether you were supposed to tell me or not, you always kind of did. So I kind of was ready. I remember the first night I stayed up. I didn't go to sleep because I didn't want to get scared. So I didn't sleep. So I didn't get any sleep. But then I didn't get woken up with explosions and trash cans going down. So I was ready for it. And so I paid the price with which I lost a couple hours of sleep, but I gained it because I wasn't shitting myself waking up to trash cans being thrown by my head and RD simulators going off. But Ranger School started there, and that's where you had Desert Phase back then as well, which I think they've eliminated now, and maybe they brought it back or not. But going through, was there a time at Ranger School like where was your? And I think when people want to hear this, and I think people to overcome adversity need to hear is, as a student, where was your lowest point where because everybody's had it. I don't care how tough you are. Oh yeah. Everybody's had that shit. I don't want to do this shit. Can I just fall down this mountain and break my arm so I can quit honorably? And where was that? Which phase and what was going through your head where you were just like, man, I'm done. I don't want to do this shit anymore. You fought through it, of course, and of course you graduated, and then you became one of the greatest Ranger instructors of all time. But what was your lowest point there, and how would that use this as a catalyst to tell people, hey, dude, you're a motivational speaker too. Hey, this is what I was thinking. This is how I got through it, and this is how I succeeded. But I had my low point too, where I didn't want to be there. So, do you have that story? I'd love to hear that.
My lowest point came in the Florida phase. And people have to remember, back then, you would issue 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
And if you issue so many meals, and if you all your meals up, that's it. But my lowest point, it rained on us for around 3 days straight. Yeah. And I remember the Ranger instructor coming in the morning and said, who wants to quit? That's all he said, who wants to quit? You're shaking, everything's wet, everything's rusted up. There's a 12 who wants to quit. You see a guy get up. And he said, not today, not today. And so I remember this one night we just completed an ambush. Mm-hmm. And so we were moving to the patrol base. It was raining all day and it was coming on hard. I was wearing my glasses, the old birth control glasses. Everything's fogged up. I'm wet. And we were crossing this log and I slipped and my leg went up to my crotch in mud and I just went berserk. I said, man, the hell with this crap. And I remember my buddy, his name was Mike Kelso, who was also inducted to the Ranger Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, wow.
Mike Kelso, who also fought with the Rhodesian Army in Rhodesia.
Wow.
And Mike Kelso grabbed me. He said, Max, you got this. That's all he said. You got this. He said, if you quit now, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And he pulled me up, and I said, all right, I got this, Mike. I got this. That was the lowest point in my life. And I'll have to look back, Chris, if I would have said, thrown a towel in that night, how my life would have turned out.
Oh, but crazy to think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think? Honestly, you'd probably been in the bank robbery Hall of Fame, criminal Hall of Fame too. You'd be the best criminal in the world. Smash it. Yeah. But no, you're right, because you go down that route, and at those times, especially then with the options you had, options ever, and there's really routes that you go in the Army during those years, and if you get out, a lot of those guys, they go the other direction.
They go to the dark side.
They do. They go the bad route. But I remember now. I remember having my own during mountain phase when it started snowing on us, and I was tired of being fucking cold. Excuse my language, but I was tired of it, and I remember screaming like this. And I don't know why they didn't kick me out then, because I at the scream top of my lungs, I was bitching, climbing all the way up a hill, going, why are we doing this bullshit? Why am I here? And I just had another Ranger we had a great squad. Our squad actually passed all of Ranger School after Benning phase. After Benning phase, our whole platoon, only 8 of us passed in my platoon in Benning phase, and then they put us in one squad, and we managed to work together through the rest of the Ranger School. We all passed everything together. It was a first pack guy. My Ranger buddy. Yeah, I just said, hey, dude, get your shit together, man. We got this. We'll get through together. But yeah, I mean, I think we all at Ranger School have had that one night where, and it usually is when we're super cold, and wet or something. It's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Just take me now, dear Lord. Take me down. Roll me down this hill. I don't want to do this shit anymore. But you got through Ranger School, and I know you passed. Everything did. Of course you did. And just for sake of time, because we also want to talk about, because you're the tax sim stuff you're doing, and we want to get into I want to talk about a little bit you being a Ranger instructor. All right, because that's a big deal.
I got one thing I want to add about.
Go, dude.
On the graduation, right? On the day of the graduation, right? They said, okay, loved ones come out there. You pin the Ranger tabs on. I didn't have nobody to pin mine on, so I'm standing there with my Ranger tab in my hand, and so the Ranger School commander came down out of the bleachers and said, young man. I said, yes, sir. He said, you don't have anybody pinning your Ranger tab on? I said, no, sir. He said, don't mind if I pin it on. I said, oh, sir, I'll be honored. Lieutenant L.A.P. Sidnor, who was the deputy commander on the Sante raid, pinned my Ranger tab on.
Wow. That's amazing. I know, and that's some amazing things that you did and the people you're around, which really acted as your family, man. I really, if you look at it back in since we're talking about that, we don't talk about your family too much. You don't have to if you don't want to, brother. I know, but can you tell a little bit? And were they not involved much with the military when you were coming up? And if because I'll be honest, Max, we have never discussed that ever. I've never asked you. And I know this is a place where we're in a public eye a little bit right now. But is there any advice if people grew up like that, where your family was Rangers, or you didn't have the support, or maybe you did and I just didn't know about it. But if you didn't, how did you manage to? Because you ended up being a success anyway, regardless. You still drove on. A little bit about your family life, a bit, and how you still managed to be successful. Because I didn't know your family wasn't there to pin on your tab, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. My like I said, my dad, he was in an Army band, and he was a musician, damn good musician.
Yeah. Your dad was. Why didn't he show? I guess I'm like, what was he? Had he passed at that time, or did he?
No, he was still alive, but you remember this was back in the 70s.
Yeah,
and so I didn't think it really was a big deal, because I just want to hurry up and get through it. And they came to my basic training graduation.
Okay.
But my dad was always there for me. And it got to the point he wanted to be a musician. And I tell people, you got to follow your heart. You got to carve out your own destiny. You got to carve out your own future. And so that's what I did.
Gotcha.
And that's how you got to find your own place in life. And that's what I wanted to be, was a soldier.
I guess I just didn't know if there was a falling out at some point. Was there at that time, or did you guys, once you got done? I'm sure, like any father. I mean, my father never was in the military, but very proud once I got done with everything. He didn't understand it, but was he? Yeah, did he like, hey, you know what? I wanted you to go in the band, but holy shit, you're a Ranger. Was that?
Oh, they were very proud.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very proud. That's awesome. Ian, I know if you got anything, jump in, brother. But
it's same place you wanted to go, because these are great Ranger School stories. But yeah, I'd love to hear where things went from there, because as I said earlier, first, second, third, all three of the 75th Ranger Regiment, as well as the Ranger Regimental Headquarters. I mean, it's a long, distinguished career. So I would love to get into where things went from there in the 80s and 90s.
Okay, so I graduated Ranger School, and so I went back to First Bat. Mm-hmm. And so the guy who was giving me so much heat, I kind of rubbed it in his face. I got it. And he turned beet red, like mother, I got it. I kind of had a little swagger. And so since I was 11 Charlie, I was assigned to HAC. Mm-hmm. And at that time, all the mortars were in the same company in HAC. So I got there, and what's crazy, like two of the guys that served within the Rangers, two of them eventually became Ranger Hall of Fame. And so then I was assigned to Alpha Company 175, right? Weapons Platoon. And Mike Hall, he's Ranger Hall of Fame, famous. I think he was SOCOM Command Sergeant Major.
Yeah, it's Command Sergeant Major.
Yeah, he was. We were in the same platoon, and so the First Bat, and back then it was a lot different. We jumped every Monday.
Yeah, that sucks. Jumping sucks. That was that you were like really like a paratrooper unit back then.
Oh yeah, it was real McCoy. We jumped every Monday, right? And we stay in the field from Monday through Wednesday, come back Thursday, then we clean weapons on Friday. And so then that following we reversed it, we did the cycle. We jumped. And while believe it or not, back in the day when you're in in RIP, you probably left RIP with around 20, 25 jumps before you even went to battalion.
Yeah.
Constantly, because you're proficient. Because at that time, we had the T10 parachutes and jumping -1 Bravos at that time. Okay. And so, we did a lot of field exercises, a lot of deployments. And we constantly stayed busy, because at that time, you only have 1st and 2nd Ranger Battalion. And First Bat, we never worked with 2nd Bat. Those were the guys on the West Coast.
Well, it's so hard, the logistics, because you're in Georgia, they're up in Washington, and yeah, you're right. At that time, 3rd Bat didn't exist at that time. They hadn't been coming up. So yeah, and Savannah, your guys' training cycles were unbelievable, man. Were you doing any sort of rotary wing stuff at that time? Because I don't think Task Force didn't exist at that time either. 160.
You only have 1st, 2nd Battalion. We fell under the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Okay.
You didn't have no JSOC, none of this would they been in existence. You just had 1st, 2nd Bat, you had SF, and Delta was just in its infancy, right? At that time, because Beckwith would come down and they would have, and they come down to get a brief who wants to go Delta. And so Delta was just really in its infancy, right? They just finished they're just finished standing up. And so the big thing that happened back then was Desert One. Right, that was the big deal that happened there. Yeah. And so, Charlie Company, under the leadership of Captain Grange, General Grange's son, they had the mission of going over there to provide airfield security, and also a quick reactionary force. And so they went off and did their own thing. It's like, hey, what's Charlie Company doing? And then all of a sudden, we start seeing the M551 Jeeps start appearing, and what they're doing. And so they just disappeared. And I remember I was coming from the club, and at that time we had the day room. We had your mailbox up there.
Yeah.
And Charlie Company just returned from I think either Egypt or Oman, just right after the debacle. After what happened out there on Desert One, and they were cleaning weapons. I'm like, damn, I got my club clothes. I said, damn, brother, what happened? And so one of the guys, right, we were really tight brothers, right? And I said, what happened? He said, yeah, man, I was out there. I was on the blocking team, man. Boom, man. So he told me what happened. He said, yeah, a Iranian bus came up and I got on there, And the Iranian said, "Who are you guys?" He said, "We're Nigerian commandos." I said, "Wow." Yeah, he said, "Yeah, we're Nigerian commandos." He said, then it was a big explosion. He said it was like boom. It was like everybody started running for their aircraft and let those guys go.
Wow.
And so right after that, that is when the battalion changed forever. I remember out there at 29 Palms. We were out there at 29 Palms doing desert training. And all of a sudden we had a company formation. And I remember our CEO, had the whole company line up. And he said, okay, we want all the M203s right here. We want all the M60s here. We want all the MP5s here. We want all these weapon systems here, and so forth. And then he said, okay, first platoon, you guys are going to be called jump clearing. What? Jump what? Second platoon, you're going to be doing this, blocking position. Then we brought out the Jeeps. Then they brought out the motorcycles. And then we started.
Wow.
That's where it started right there. And so when we were out there in 29 Palms, that's when we started doing it. That's when we had the first generation NVGs, and we had the Jeeps. They had M202 flashes on there, and we had the M60 machine gun, and just loaded up with laws and in the milk crates. And so we started doing, jump clearing. We started doing that.
That was when you started doing the airfield seizures.
Airfield seizures,
and
exactly.
all that. Yeah, that was all from Desert One where that got big.
Yeah.
And if you guys, I know we don't got a ton of time, but if you search Desert One, you'll see it. It's where really JSOC started, where they're like, hey man, we got to get some coordination between all these units because we can't have this thing happen again.
I'll even throw a little plug to our friends over at the Team House, because I know they've interviewed some guys who have been involved in Desert One. Like I believe Mike Vining, right? I think he had a part in Desert
Vining.
One. A lot of those guys from that era.
Weird Foundation, just a week and a half ago, we hosted the Desert One. We had four of the Delta operators. We had a couple of the guys. We had two of the embassy guards, Marine embassy guards. We had two of the hostages. And this was the first time all these guys were together.
Wow.
Ever met each other at one time. And it was pretty emotional.
Wow. Hey, hope you're all enjoying this episode with none other than Howard Mullen, better known as Mad Max, Ranger Hall of Fame inductee 2013. And just great guy in the community. We really enjoyed having him on. But before we continue with this, as I said earlier, we have great sponsors that keep us on board. And one of those being our newest sponsor, none other than Photonics Defense, who is the global leader in night vision. I'll get into the specifics a little bit more, but I know that, this is a guy that you served with, Phil, who you stand behind. And he really stands behind this product because he knows his stuff. He's been overseas. He's been there and done that.
He has worked with him at GRS. He was a Marine, and also, just timing. Actually, I've got the stuff in my hands. I used it. Actually, used it. What's today? The 13th. So I used it back on the 2nd of September. And the guys, it is mil spec quality night vision. I had the 15s on. PVS 15s, so you look at they're the binos that you use, and guys, the clarity of those things, and it's white phosphorus. The clarity of them is second to none. And at night vision, that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of competition out there, and mil spec stuff is, when I say mil specifications, that's top of the line, guys. The special operations community we use. There's competitions out there, and just the little things that make it better, and the ability, because a lot of this night vision to save battery power and stuff, because they all use batteries. And the worst thing that can happen is you're using night vision, you're in the middle of a hit, and your batteries run out. I mean, it's bad enough when you have your remote control and the batteries go out on your TV, but think of it that way. And a lot of them have automatic shutoffs, so you save battery power, and a lot of them is due to angles. So if the night vision is flipped up on your helmet, or you have it on a head casing, which sometimes we used to, it flips up, it turns off automatically. The problem with that is if you're at different angles in, say, a gunfight, and I hope you never are, but this is what I'm saying, putting it at different angles, it could shut off on you. For example, leaning under a car to shoot somebody, it'll shut off on you. The great thing about what Photonics has done with the turn on off switches is magnetic based. So it's a movement of the actual binos, or if you have the gens with the four bangers, which has the tubes on all four sides, so you have a peripheral vision. you have to physically move them into a position for them to shut off, which saves that accidental shutting off if you're at an angle based off a body position. And I know that maybe Greek to a lot of you out there, but as far as using night vision, that's huge because it saves you where you're in a gunfight and you're leaning to go behind cover and all of a sudden your night vision shuts off because you're at an angle that you shouldn't be, which is what all the other night vision does. All the other tubes out there do, except for Photonics Defense. So, yeah, guys, check them out. Tremendous. The weight is fantastic on them. They're not heavy, and their attachments are fantastic. As far as I have mine set up on my Gladiator Solutions helmet, and it didn't move an inch. As far as falling off, no problems with it at all. To say the least, I was impressed. And on the 2nd of September when I was wearing them for about 4 hours. And
wow.
Yeah, and I actually did some room clearing with them, did some shooting with them.
Nice.
Tremendous stuff. So, guys, Photonics Defense, check them out. For all you guys, the mil-spec guys, law enforcement community, they're looking for night vision. And Phil knows what he's doing. Phil's been there and done that. So check out Photonics Defense if you need stuff for your departments, and you will not be disappointed with those things at all.
Absolutely. Hunters, shooters, boaters, and outdoor enthusiasts rely on Photonics defense systems to make their adventures safer and more successful. Military, law enforcement, and public safety end users utilize Photonics defense solutions to give them the edge at night in tactical situations and rescue operations. Photonics Defense is now offering state-of-the-art night vision systems, from the PD Pro B 16mm binocular and the PD Pro M 16mm monocular to the PD Pro Q panoramic night vision system. Customers from all over are excited about these new, smaller, lighter NVGs. You've got to see these things to really experience how much smaller and lighter they are than anything you've used previously. We're also going to have Phil Otto on the podcast in a few weeks. And I know you're going to shoot some stuff, right, with Zach, with your photo guy, right?
We are on the 2nd, back on the September 2nd, we actually did some shots.
So they might be posted by now.
They probably are. I haven't yet, but I'm not, I do just my main Instagram. Everybody else runs everything else on it. But as far as Photonics goes, that's up to Phil and his marketing team, what they're going to do.
Cool.
Photos.
So we might have some stuff on YouTube by then where you could see what these are really capable, and you got to check them out. So visit photonicsdefense.com. That's PHOTONIS defense.com. Photonicsdefense.com. Link is right there in the description for more information, or look for Photonics Defense product options from your night vision dealer. And while we're talking night vision, we also have to talk about the best ammo on the planet, and that is none other than Fort Scott Munitions. We love them. They've been with us pretty much since day one, and here we are 100 episodes in, and we get to do what we do, and we love interviewing the guys that we do, all thanks to them and other great sponsors that we work with. So Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact. That's their trademark, in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states. Here's what you got to do. Go to the dealer locator on fortscottmunitions.com, and you'll find a place pretty much anywhere at whatever state that you're in. Like, for example, I'm here on Long Island. I put in my zip code, and the closest thing is South Shore Sportsman in Merrick. So I can take a pretty quick drive and get it. And I believe if you're in, let's say, a gun-friendlier state, you can probably find a hell of a lot more places. Right? I mean, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And they've got a new batch of 9mm casings in, guys. So they're getting back up. I know 9mm always been hard to come by. I'm sorry. Guys, if you want your 9mm, you need to get your stock up. Go down to your dealer and start ordering that Fort Scott now, because they've got a bunch of cases and they're getting caught up on their 9mm orders. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for that. If you want to get in first one in line, go do that now, because they're going to be shipping them to the stores here pretty soon.
Yep. And if you want to wear the coolest shirt in your gym, rock the Tacti Squad shirt, you'll get an exclusive 15% off thanks to us. So that's FortScottMunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. And that's only available to listeners of this podcast. So that's Fort Scott Munitions, Fort Scott, MUNITIONS.com. Link is right there in the description. And for the merchandise, you'll get 15% off when you type in the code Battleline at checkout. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and this podcast, the Battleline Podcast. We can't thank them enough. And
I got one thing, because people have been asking. I don't think we ever put that out there. If we did, I don't remember. Guys, and Fort Scott, it's all lead free. Their ammo is lead free, which is huge.
I did not. I didn't know that.
We've never put that out. I don't think we have. If we have, but that's hugely important now. It is at ranges. A lot of ranges now are not allowing lead or full jacketed rounds to go on their ranges. They want lead free because of contamination. So Fort Scott Munitions is lead free. I just want to put that out there. So because I've got some questions, some askings people have asked through the KPI website. So here you go, guys. Yes, it is lead free ammo. There you go.
That's good to know. So yeah, once again, check them out, FortScottMunitions.com. And now back to Mad Max Howard Mullen. It's amazing. It's amazing that there's still organizations like that who are able to organize these things. What were you saying, Chris?
No, after brother, and I know I'm getting into because I love the lineage, dude. After that, the training it ramped up. Is that when you pushed over to second bat? Or did you go up to stand up third bat when that opened up? So how'd that all?
It's crazy. So I left first bat because you got to remember back in that time, we didn't have the regimental system.
Yeah, there's no headquarters. There's no 75th headquarters. It was
and so you remember the pyramid gets smaller as you get ranked. Mm-hmm. And so you run around trying to hide, trying to hide in the S shop and stuff like that. So eventually you had Abrams Charter, where you're supposed to go out there and, share your experiences with the regular army. So that's why you see that a lot of the 10th Mountain stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of their SOPs and stuff, the way they wear the equipment, that is from the Abrams Charter, from the Ranger Regiment, from the Rangers who go out there and spread the wealth. So I'll go back to Korea, right? I went straight back to Korea. And so good thing about Korea, I served on a DMZ. At Garpost Olet did combat patrols in a DMZ. I looked across the DMZ and in North Korea. We heard them tunnelling that night. We did combat patrols, and so I had a chance to be part of that history also.
Wow!
I had a sniper section, and we did patrols up there. I was on Garpost Olet and Garpost Collier, and you can see North Korea right there. Yeah, I see them every day. And so from there, came down to order for 2nd Ranger Battalion. Now I was an Alpha Company 175, so this time I went to B Company 275.
Yeah, my company.
BICO, old BICO, in the old quad area, right?
Yeah, wow.
So the thing about Bravo Company is that is when I participated in Operation Urgent Fury.
Okay, all right, and for those that don't, that was the Grenada thing, and that was actually I know, even with all the chaos, it was a success. At least on the Ranger side of the house, I know the SEALs lost some guys in the ocean just getting dry. Hey man, that was crazy. I don't. Yeah. They got dropped in heavy seas. I think it was too far out. Yeah. And you participated in Urgent. Tell us, dude, I want to hear stories. Guys, if you got anything from there, throw it on. We got time.
What was crazy about Urgent Fury, is like in the second bat now, it was different. Like first and second bat was different. Serving like Ken Bachman. Okay. He was in first bat, and he came to second bat too. Ken Bachman, right? And Ken Bachman, he was inducted to the Ranger Hall of Fame, and he was my jump master.
You have so many guys that you're associated with. I just have to throw it out there. It's like 6 guys already that you got. I
got to recognize my brother. So he was our jump master on my bird going into Grenada. But the thing about Grenada, he's the jump master. So the thing about Grenada is that at that time we were doing a 12-mile road march every Saturday because anything happened, Rangers get blamed for it. So somebody let a star cluster off at an ACDC concert at Trauma Dome. They got burned in the ceiling. So Rangers got blamed for it. So here we are. Okay, I'm out there getting ready to wash my car. All right, we're alerted. I said, God damn.
You're alerted. You got alerted.
We got alerted, right? So I'm going there sticking around. I said, damn. And so we got dressed and we had a formation. I said, what the hell's going on? Nobody knew what was going on. And so they said, all right, go in there and start banding your lockers up.
Oh, wow.
Banding your lockers.
Yeah.
So we're banding lockers. I said, this got to be EDRI. EDRI is emergency readiness deployment, where you alert it, you go, you load up, you go through the NR sequence, then you jump, do your mission, you come back, right? EDRI, a training exercise.
It's a training. Yeah, it's a training. It's like, okay, we got to go through all this shit to come back home. All right, let's go do it. But yeah, so you thought it was an EDRI. You thought it was an EDRI,
right?
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm going by, I'm going by the aid station, right? And I see these guys hustling. And I said, I saw Dr. Julio. Dr. Julio received a Silver Star on Grenada.
Oh,
so I'm seeing Dr. Julio. I said, what's going on, Doc? He said, dude, we're going to war. I said, what? Hell no, we ain't going to no damn war. Bro, we going to war. I said, what? Man, we're drawing morphine. I said, oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we draw morphine. I said, it's still an EDRI, So we band the lockers and, put the Dear John thing on there. If anything happened to me, blah, blah, on the lockers. So we have a formation with all our baggage and stuff. All of a sudden, 18 Silver Stars showed up and the whole battalion loads up. We still don't know what the hell is going on.
Wow.
We went over to McCord, jumped on the C-141s, and we flew all the way straight to Hunter, and we landed at Sabre Hall.
Wow.
As soon as that ramp dropped, we said, dude, we're going to flipping war.
Wow.
The ramp dropped, we see AC-130s, C-130s, pallets, all this activity going on. I mean, you see, yeah, something happened. This ain't no damn EDRI.
I think, and people need that's crazy and you're seeing all that, and that's why I think it's so important. And when you do your talks too and leadership talks, you got to handle the fuck games. You got to handle your mind, right? Because you're doing through all this, and I don't think how your mind starts to race because this is serious. You don't know what's going on. Nobody's telling you, but you have to be able to control your emotions because you don't know. And it could be the worst thing in the world, and your brain's just going crazy. I think that's why why the hazing and the indocs are so important.
Very important.
But they help you in the business side too once you get it. But we'll talk about that on another episode. But why Rangers make such good business leaders too? It's because, I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out. Let's just keep driving forward. And that's what you're doing. You're moving forward. You're just continuing moving forward. I don't know. I'm not going to panic. I'm getting amped up. I'm a little nervous.
You're nervous, but you're gonna move forward. You're gonna go.
Yeah.
That's what we've been training for.
Yep.
And so then they said, hey, they gave us a mission. And so I remember our company commander, I helped make the terrain model. Say, Max, help make the terrain model. So make the terrain model, and it was the island of Grenada. And so then I said, we got any maps? Nope, no maps. No maps. And so they handed out these tourist maps.
Yeah, I heard that. I remember the stories on that.
They handed out these tourist maps, right? So we made a terrain model based off the tourist maps. And then they said, okay, they gave her our mission. So our mission was the airland, right? Mm-hmm. Airland. And our company was a road march over to the Cavallini barracks. One of the Spanish-speaking Rangers supposed to say, okay, stay in the barracks. You're here, you're going to be evacuated through the Red Cross. And so that was the original mission, right? So first bat, we didn't see those guys. They're planning someplace else. So then they said, okay, our whole battalion isn't going. And so they handpicked who was going to go. So we didn't jump with our full contingent. First bat jumped with their whole battalion. We didn't. We jumped with like an ad hoc. So we had to, we piecemealed it. And I carried M203 and said, okay, there's an ammo. Take what you want, because you don't know how long you're going to be there. And, back then, each position had SOP for this the ammo for rifleman, this the ammo for grenadier. But it's like, take what you want. Big mistake. Yeah. All right. So grabbed all this stuff. Here's some ammo for the 60. What? I got to carry this too. Yeah, here you go. Oh, yeah, here's some mortar rounds too. They got,
wow.
Oh yeah. Don't forget your law.
So how heavy was when it all said done? How heavy do you think your ruck was when you finally got everything?
Probably around 95 to 100 pounds easy.
And you jumped in, right? Did you jump in or you were landed in? You jumped in.
We jumped in, and so what happened is that we started loading up, and our rucks were so heavy that we had to buddy lift each other up. And I said, I'm going to jump this damn thing. And what's crazy about it, Chris, that's the first time we ever issued MREs. They gave us MREs. So what the hell is this? Oh, these are the new mills. So after we got back from Grenada, never saw another C-Rat. But they gave us our MREs. I still got my first generation MRE from Grenada. And so we load up on a plane.
Okay.
And we load up on a C-130. The aircraft was going. It was dark. And I think we had 2 Jeeps on ours, a couple of bikes. Sure. And they just packed on there. And I saw a pallet of parachutes to the front, towards the front of the aircraft. And so we packed on there. I think it's almost like a 6-7 hour flight.
Oh man!
We started flying.
And you had to shoot up. You had the aircraft shoot.
It gets interesting.
That sucks.
And so we're flying, right? So you're trying to get sleep, and all of a sudden you had your 2 SIGO guys to the front, and one guy said, "Oh damn, man! First pass is taking heavy anti-aircraft fire." And we said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, they're taking heavy anti-aircraft fire. We're jumping in." And so they started passing around the parachutes, right? With the jump option, going to the jump option. And so we're getting these parachutes, and he said, where the reserves at? There's no reserves.
There's no reserves. You're jumping low. You're not going to be up in the air long enough to pull a reserve, man.
And so this showed you what's crazy. Like Ken Bachman and I, we served in first bat. In the first bat, we jumped weapons exposed. Second bat, jumped weapons in M1950 containers.
Yeah, in the container.
We didn't have no M1950, so we had to show the guys how to rig the M16's weapons for jumping weapons exposed.
Wow.
We had no reserves, and every jump master procedure went out the door.
And now tell me, and just so it's clear, you're going into a combat zone. You don't have any lights on in the plane. You're doing everything in the dark or red light. Is that correct?
Everything's red light.
Everything's in there in like a red light. So you're basically trying to do this all in the dark. You're trying to tell. Yeah, it's chaos, man. That's
and so then no more than around 30 minutes later, we're all rigged up and said, "Oh no, we're going to air land." So we de-rigged, right? Then 20 minutes later, "Oh no, we're going to jump back in." So we re-rigged. All this went on, yeah. We rigged, and so then the doors will open, and they said, "Look, we're only going to make one pass. If we don't make it out, we're going to land in Barbados." And so we were standing for something like 15 minutes. The doors are open. Green light was on. The doors open, and they said, "As soon as you see the light tower, it's a go." And only thing you had in your mind, I just want to get the hell off this plane.
I bet your back was screaming, man. And just so everybody, did you have the straps on well, or your balls just getting crushed at this point? Because I just remember trying to rig on a plane. Every time I tried to rig on an aircraft, I could never get the straps right. My balls were always crushed on those fucking things.
Brother, I couldn't have said it no better.
All right, keep going. This is awesome.
And so, I think it was number 4 man. I said, "I just want to get out this aircraft. I'm sweating, about to throw up." And I'm looking out this little porthole, and I said, "Damn, we're kind of low." And so I said, "We're going in at 500 feet."
Wow.
And so I'm looking, and all I remember is Sergeant Baum said, "Go." And you didn't jump out. You just flopped out.
Flopped, yeah.
You just flopped out. I had twists all at my risers, and I looked down. It looked like I was jumping off the top of my car.
Yeah, because how long would it take you? 4 seconds to get down, if that?
It's probably around 10 seconds, and I released my rucksack. It didn't even get to the end of my lorry line. It just hit the runway, exploded, ammunition going all over. We jumped into 20-knot wind, right? I've got twist.
Oh, wow.
I finally got the twist out. I see the other jumpers going out. I see green traces arcing over the C-130 from Goat Hill.
Wow.
And I see the runway coming up. I said, "Man, this is going to hurt." Chris, I hit that runway so hard, man. It's like, I said, "Anybody get the license plate to that truck?"
Oh, man.
Any long-term injuries from all these years of jumping?
You remember you got the adrenaline's going, right? And so you don't feel it. I hit the runway hard. I mean, really hard. And I was getting dragged a little bit. I released my riser, and it was chaos. But it's daylight. It's supposed to be a night jump, but it's daylight. I said, "Yeah, it's combat." So we pulled my chute off the runway, and it was surreal. It was surreal.
Wow. Well, Max, I was just waiting if I could just jump in there, because I don't know if you heard me, but I was wondering, any long-term injuries from like all these years of jumping out of planes?
Brother, it catches up with you as you get older.
I would assume. I mean, is
Am
there
I lying,
anything
Chris?
in particular?
No, not lying. Yeah, brother. And usually, because when I see you, and I saw you last time we had the SHOT Show, was that 2-3 years ago. You still are moving around well. You're still dude. You're still jacked.
Yeah.
You're still.
Oh yeah.
But we've never talked about injuries. Yeah. I wouldn't want to. Is there anything that you're fighting? Any chronic fighting? I know. My lower back. My
Low
knees
back.
are actually great. My knees are great, but I only weigh 160 pounds, so I don't have a lot of weight, and I still run a lot. But my lower back is and every Ranger shrinks. I was no shit. I was 5'10" when I joined. I'm 5'8 3/4 now. We all shrink, but yeah. Do you have anything? Back, knees. I can't ever tell though, because the way you hold yourself, you don't look like you do. You still look extremely strong, like you still rock 12 miles.
Low back, low back, and that's from all the hand-to-hand demos and stuff from the and so the low back. But thank God, no other serious injuries. Just I still have problem. Low back flares up every now and then.
And now you guys got in, and Urgent Fury. I do want to go a little bit more. And we could have a show on that, because that's amazing. When you hit, I know you guys cleared the airfield, and really, you in your mind, you're getting shot at. People don't realize you have no cover out there. There's nowhere to cover, so you have a choice. You either stay down and you hide and you go into the fetal position, or you fight your way off. You keep moving forward. So, what was that like, just trying to regroup everybody to take the fight to the bad guys and stop them from shooting at you?
This was a 10,000-foot runway, right? And so a lot of the action was going on down on the east end, right, where First Bat was at. They were assaulting Gold Hill, because that's where a lot of the anti-aircraft from the ZSU-2s were coming from, right, Gold Hill. Okay. AC-130 was just hammering the hell out of that hill. And so our assembly area was down there where First Bat that. Then all of a sudden they said, no, we got it. So we had to reverse. And so we started assembling, and we got everybody assembled. And all of a sudden we started seeing these Cubans running down the hill, right? And so we captured all these Cubans, and I captured around 3 Grenadians.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, 3 Grenadians. They talk like Jamaicans, right? And we flex cuffed these guys, and one of them said, "Brother man," I said, "What's up?" "Brother man, how can you let the white man blow your mind like this, man?" I said, "What?" He said, "Dude, man, these things are hooked in my arms, man. Please help me, brother." I said, "I can't help you, man." He said, "Brother, man, please help, man." I said, "I can't help you, man." So I went through his pockets. He was a warrant officer, he had a Russian watch, went into my pocket, so. And so we fixed these guys. And so then we had something like over 100 Cubans, because every time that C-130 make it, they were scared.
Oh, yeah.
And so our squad had 100 Cubans, and all of a sudden we see the International Peacekeeping Force got running down the hill, and the Cubans were scared. We think it's going to be like a gunfight with OK Corral. And Colonel Hensley said, no, those are good guys. They're our guys, right? And so they circled us, and these are brothers from Barbados, right? And I say, let's get. I said, "Hey, here's the Cuban prisoners. We're giving them waters." And that brother looked at me and said, "Brother, man, they don't get no damn water." I said, "Okay."
Were those? So was that the international? Was that the UN, or was it a different contingent of just because international peacekeeping forces don't do shit?
It was a contingent of the islands, because they wanted them to be on it. Barbados, I think, Tobago. Okay. Dominican Republic, they had to come down to the island, right? They lit a mission force, and so we secured the airfield. C-130, C-141 started landing. Then they started offloading the DAPs, the Black Hawks with the rockets on it, and the little birds.
Direct action penetrators is what the DAP stand for. They're Black Hawks that are badass. They got every gun imaginable on those things. Those things are incredible. Wow. All right. Yeah, I just want to give the people an idea of what we're looking at. We call it DAPS. It's a UH-60, a Black Hawk that's on steroids, is what that thing is. It's freaking incredible. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
So then they started assembling the little birds and the DAPS, and they took off, right? And I think that's when they were going to Fort Richards, Richmond Prison. They were going to Richmond Prison, right? And I remember waving at the guys. I think they used some of the guys from First Bat and the Delta guys, and those guys took off, and we didn't see them again.
Didn't one of them get shot down?
They got one of them got shot down, right? Yep. And it was a lot of casualties. It was some good people got killed. Right?
Yeah, some people died on that one. Yeah.
And so then I remember I was watching a Cobra, right? It was strafing behind a hill. I was laying on my rucksack, and I saw a Cobra. And I said, man, that guy is going to get hit. And so I remember the Cobra went down for a gun run. It disappeared. Then you see a plum of smoke.
Wow. Yeah.
And so 2 weeks later, I saw the picture that was that Marine Cobra that got shot down in the pilot, right? And so that was day one. All that happened on day one. And then we had the mission to rescue the students from Grand Arness. No, it was Grand Arness campus. Hold up. No, it was
True Blue campus? Wasn't it called True Blue?
True Blue, and was the other campus? Grand Arness. So we had the mission of the Grand Arness, and so everything was done by Frago, Chris. And so they had brought in some Marine MH-53s, right?
Okay.
And so we loaded up on there. We got a quick Frago. We're going to go in there. You know, these students. We got a phone call, and we didn't know these students were there. And so we take off, right? And so I'm on the MH-53. I'm on the gunner started offloading, right? 50 cal.
Wow.
I don't know what the hell he was shooting at, and what he was shooting at the, I think it was the North Korean embassy. They were receiving fire from them, right?
Holy shit.
So we go in, right? We go in, and Grand Arness campus sit right there on the beach. And so the aircraft started hovering, and so the loadmaster said, "All right, go." So we're getting up, and so I'm going towards the end, and I'm seeing my Ranger buddies hesitate. Right, and I seen the loadmaster push the guys off. I said, "What the hell's going on?" So I get to the edge of the ramp, and I look down. I see everybody floundering in the water. Right, so I got pushed in, and my rucksack took me under. And if I would have laid on my back, I would have had to leave my rucksack. Wow. And the water was almost up at my neck. So we had to like jump bob till we hit the surface. So we fanned out, did a perimeter, and they were getting the students out. You know, we collapsed, got back on. 82nd Airborne got all the glory. Students. And so then I saw one of the MH-53 that crashed because the rotor blades hit one of the trees and crashed. So we left, go back, but we left some Rangers.
Okay.
And so the Rangers, they got inside the aircraft, you know, got a raft. They rode out to the USS America, and they linked up with us the next day.
I didn't know that. How the hell did they get left? What happened, man? I didn't know they get. I had no idea that happened.
I think they were like on the far side security, and they didn't hear, you know, the call to start collapsing, you know, to get on board the aircraft.
Well, damn, where's the platoon sergeant, whoever that was? Sorry, platoon sergeant. I know it's chaos, but god dang, that's your job, man. You don't never leave a fallen comrade, man. What happened? That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. And those, but they still. That's the awesome thing about the ingenuity and you know, Rangers in particular, but all their other special ops units too. You just find a way. And they just found a raft and they rowed out to the ship. I mean, they paddled their way out to the damn ship. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty freaking amazing.
And so we did that. And so on and so we jump in on a Monday. And so this is Friday. And so we're downloading 82nd finally come in. You know, they're pushing out. And so we're getting ready to go home. We're downloading all our ammo and everything. And I'll never forget this. First Sergeant Barnes coming up and said, "Men, grab your grenades. We got a mission." And you just get this punch in your gut, like, damn, we thought it was over with. And so we just started loading back ammo up. And so then the battalion commander came over and said, "Look, we're going into Cavallini barracks." He said, "There's some grenadiers holding out, and we're going to, you know, take those guys out." And so we started asking questions. We're going to have any air support? Yeah, we're going to have them. A7 is going to pound it. We got 82nd Airborne 105 is going to hit it, you know, and so we got AC 130 support. And we're going to go in. So we use 82nd Airborne Hueys. I mean, not Hueys, but the Blackhawks, they're transporters. So eight landed, right?
Yep.
5 came back. I was supposed to be on the first lift, got bumped to the second lift. So they took off. 8. And so what happened before they took off, 82nd was lighting up that objective with the 105s. Mm-hmm. And then the A7s, you can see them. You can see them dropping the bombs, right? Yep. And we're saying ain't nothing going to live through that. And then AC 130, he taxied, and I remember he turned in front of us, right? This was the second lift. And the pilot popped the hatch and he waved the flag, and we said, hell yeah. We started getting motivated. And I remember it took that AC 130, that whole 10,000 foot runway to take off because it was loaded with ammo, full fuel. Okay. And it started lighting up Cavallini barracks. And so the 5 aircraft came back. We started counting, where the other 3 go? Where are the other 3? So we had to cross load again. And so I remember running to the aircraft. I asked the pilot, where the other? And he said, get on. And I saw that look on his face and said, oh, wow. So we took off over the Gulf, and we're flying just low level, something out of Apocalypse Now. I swear it was like
you're damn cliche. You're nap of the earth, man.
Nap of the earth. we're flying, hauling butt, and we didn't have no cargo seats in. Had an A7 cargo strap holding us in, and we're going toward that cliff. Right, you see the flame, you see the smoke, and we're trying to get motivated. Hey, let's kick some butt, Rangers! And I remember we popped up over that cliff, and they started flaring in, and I saw the 3 Blackhawks down. I said, "Oh, damn."
What? Because I don't remember what took those things down, man. What? Tell me. I'll be honest. I can't remember how those things went down.
From what this is what I got right. They came in and they started receiving fire from the hill, and I believe the first pilot was hit. I'm not sure. Right, he was hit. So they landed, and when the first aircraft did a controlled crash landing, the wheels flared out.
And so he shorted it, and the other two they missed their spots in because is that right? They crashed into each other. It was like a domino effect. That's
like a domino effect. So I think the second aircraft, the wheel hit one of those culverts.
Yeah,
and collapsed to the side a little bit, and so the rotor blade started hitting.
Yeah,
and then the other one kind of did a controlled crash. So you had 3 birds down, and so then the guys that were coming off one of the Blackhawks was getting lit up by the rotor blade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If they would have stayed on, they would have lived. And so when we saw that, it was a Russian obstacle course. So we landed outside a Russian obstacle course. As soon as we hit, we jettisoned our rucksacks and we started going through, moving to the sounds of the guns. And it was utter chaos. And so we pushed out, we formed a perimeter, and we stayed there all night. We had AC-130 gunship support all night. And my battle buddy in my position was John C. Macionis, the Force legend.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we had the same battle position. So the next day, we got up and we went there. They took those 3 aircraft. They just dumped them in the Caribbean. They stripped them of the avionics, dumped them in the Caribbean. And so we went there on an objective, and I'm walking around on this objective, right, going through the barracks. And I remember seeing this Grenadian's footlocker, open it up. You see pictures, and I said, man, these guys just like us. You see these guys with their girlfriends on the beach having fun, with the beer drinking and, mean mugging, making faces. And, it gives the face of the enemy. These young kids like us.
Which is, wars only start when both people think they're right. Now, whether one's usually, you still fight for your side that you're on, and you're going in, and you're going to fight for the guy next to you. So you mean to tell me you didn't just leave you guys just didn't leave the Blackhawks there for the enemy to grab and use later? I'm kidding, dude. I was a hit for what's going on right now.
I hear you, brother.
That's my one political statement that I'm not going to say anything else. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. No, I remember because I remember reading about Grenada, and if you don't know about Urgent Fury, it made it sound like it was an in and out easy mission, but there was there was deaths, and there was a lot of aircraft that went down. So. Ian, help me out with time, dude. I know we're going over. But I want
to. As long as Max could stay, man, it's up to you. I'm not in any rush.
Yeah, I want to get into a little bit because you got there for. Tell us a little bit more, and then we'll skip over. But I want to get into what made you become an RI and your Ranger school time too, as well, man.
Okay, so then I left second bat. Okay. And so then I went to 101st, right? In front of 101st, I was there for around 6 months. And then I got ordered to become a Ranger instructor. So I get to Benton. At this time, you still had the committee groups. You still were 3rd Ranger Company. And I became a Ranger instructor, right? I was on Morgan team. And the Morgan team was the elite stormtroopers of the RI.
You're the dicks. You're the assholes. Let's just put it simply. You're the sons of bitches that we all hated. The ones that were, you're the mean guys. You guys are so gotcha. But you fit there. You fit there, dude. I'll be scared if I saw you coming in through the dark barracks, man. The size you're at, your mean ass face, because you got a grouchy face, dude. You got it. You can. I'd be scared shitless too. So no, you fit you. But yeah, that's awesome. No, keep going, man.
And so that's where the Mad Max was born.
Yeah.
And so the thing with the Morgan team, we did all the physical stuff, right? We did all the PT, we did the land navs, we did the Darby Queen, and so we had to be in shape. You didn't see any fat Ranger instructors, so you basically got picked to be on the Morgan team. You had to be like a physical specimen, and because those are the first ones the Ranger students see, and so that first impression is the last impression. And at that time, we had, you had a lot of, it was open to all MOSs, right? Mostly had officers come through. And we had Navy SEALs come through. We had foreign forces come through. I could tell you some crazy stories about that. But we were the epitome of professionalism as Ranger instructors. And so our main job was to call the herd. And if you made it through Morgantown that first week, right, you were meant to be a Ranger. And they said, why you got this so hard on? I said, because we'd show up with something like 300 people on day one and say, there's no way you can go out there to Derby with 300 Ranger students. So the squads would be 20-man squads, and it's no way. So you had to make it to a reduced. You had to call the herd and make sure that those guys really wanted. Because if you really wanted to be a Ranger instructor, you would make it through there. And so,
go ahead. No, keep going. I want you done. I'm going to ask you something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we smoked Ranger. We didn't cut no slack. None. We were merciless.
What, since you touched on it, I want to know. Give me a story on the foreign service guy that came through. Do you have a good story? Do you have a good story?
Oh, I got plenty of good stories, but
okay, give me a good one. Give me a good foreign service story.
Two quick ones, right?
Oh, okay.
One was Ranger Muhammad, right? He was from Nigeria. He was Nigerian, right?
Are you shitting me? Are you making this up?
No, I'm not.
His name was Ranger Muhammad. Okay, gotcha.
His name was Ranger Muhammad Mastif. I think that was his name. I still got to speak to him and his wife. And he was Nigerian, boot black, darker than me. And he came through. Yeah, I can say that, right? Hey,
you can. You got
I can get away with it. You can't, but I can get away with it. So here we are, Ranger Muhammad, right? And I had to, you got to have this sense on Rangers, right? And I can look at a Ranger, yeah, he's going to make it, not going to make it. But Ranger Muhammad, he came to the cadre barracks. And he had the traditional, Nigerian, the long robe with the hat and stuff. He knocked on my door, and I said, Ranger Muhammad, what the hell are you doing in the cadre barracks? Just Sergeant Mullen, I'm getting dropped from the course. I said, for what? I could not pass the M60 machine gun. He said, Sergeant Mullen, we don't use M60 machine guns. We use British weapons. He said, I was trained by the British SAS. I am the president of Nigeria, personal bodyguard. I can't go back. I'm the first one to go to Ranger School since he graduated back in 1968. The whole country was dependent on me, Sergeant Mullen. I said, oh, yeah, that is pretty serious. He said, sir, we don't use these weapons, Sergeant Mullen. I said, okay, let me see what I can do, Ranger Muhammad. So I go to the attack. I said, hey, sir, when we put Ranger Muhammad back in. Hell no, sir. He didn't meet the standard. I said, but sir, he is the Nigerian's president, personal bodyguard. And he was trained by the British SAS. And I said, he was the first one to come have a Ranger School slot since the president went through. And number one, I said, if you were to go through their equivalent, like their little commando course, and they throw you M240G, would you know what to do? He said, yeah, you got a point. But I said, I'll put him back in, Mullen, but it's on you. I said, yeah, I fall on that blade. I fall on that sword. So I told Ranger Muhammad, hey, grab your bags, get back in, you're back in the course. Ranger Muhammad graduates the course. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call to my apartment. And I said, who is this? It's Ranger Muhammad. I said, what the hell? How the hell you get my number? He said, Sergeant Mullen, we have security forces too. I said, okay, how you doing? And so you hear this party going in the background, right? And he said, Sergeant Mullen, I want you to meet the chief of staff of the Nigerian Army. I said, put him on. I spoke to the chief of staff. Oh, Sergeant Mullen, Ranger Muhammad told us all about you. You got to come to Nigeria. The president wants to meet you. I said, hey, I can't do that. I can't hop on a plane and go. Yes, you got to go to the embassy. That's diplomatic. I can't hop on a plane and just go to Nigeria. Oh, you got to come. I said, I can't. Blah, blah. You make it work. I do it. And so Muhammad would call me up and was so thankful and everything. The president wanted to thank you. I said, no, you did it, Muhammad. You did all the legwork.
Did you see? So everybody knows now that you're a teddy bear. So now you're never going to be able to be mean to anybody again because they're going to know it's a show. So we just outed you there. First thing on Battleline podcast, Hugh Max Mullen has been outed. He's actually a teddy bear. But so did you guys allow him to cross train to get the Ranger stakes done again on that M60? You just hey, here's the book, you figure it out, and next time you do it.
We train him again, make sure that he was proficient. Yeah. But Ranger Muhammad earned it. He didn't get a pass. He really earned it, right?
I don't doubt it, man. You guys, nobody got through Ranger School, especially at that time, by being somebody important. No, it didn't work out that way. I seriously doubt. Yeah, you guys gave him any shorts. So, but you're right. I mean, you use common sense. That was one how you just common sense. Hey.
And the second one was we were doing the combat water survival test, and we had this Korean Rock Ranger student.
Okay.
His name was Captain Kim. And the last station where you do you jump in, you get your equipment, you come back.
Get your equipment, come back up. Yep.
Right, without breaking the surface, right? But he kept doing to the language barrier. He kept coming back up, right? And so, you're no go. And I looked at him and said, I spoke a little Korean. I spoke to him, right?
Oh wow.
And I told the sergeant, hey, well, put him back in. Pass him. Hell no, Max. He didn't pass the course. I said, dude, this guy is a ROC Special Forces Halo instructor, ROC Special Forces scuba instructor. He'll swim circles around you and me. He's the damn Aquaman. Put him back in the damn course. Put him back in. Right? So he graduates. He comes to my room, knocks on the door, and I said, Ranger Kim, what the hell are you doing in the cadre barracks? He had his ROC Special Forces beret on, and he said, Sergeant Mullen, I want to thank you. I said, no, Kim, you did it all your own. Okay. He said, I want to present you this. So he gave me this towel with all the ROC Special Forces pocket patches on it, and he gave me his beret. So I gave him my Ranger T-shirt, and I gave him my beret. He eventually became the ROC Special Forces, Chief of Staff of the South Korean Special Forces, Ranger Kim.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is.
I want to get into some post-military stuff, but this actually will lead into it a little bit. I mean, these two stories that you told were a Korean guy, as you said, and then a Muslim guy. And an interesting thing is, just from my work with interviewing so many guys who served as Rangers, it is predominantly white dudes. It's just the kind of a fact of the matter. I do know that there's Latino guys in special operations who you served with, Chris, and but that's predominantly what it is. Did you have a certain affinity towards that, being one of the few black guys who has gone through Ranger School and is an Army Ranger?
I'm going to say it like this. I served, I was very fortunate to serve in all three Ranger battalions and a Ranger regiment. Mm. And as a Ranger instructor from two eras, Morgan Team of Plainholder when it became the 4th Ranger Training Battalion. And all my experience as a Ranger and a Ranger instructor, people said, Max, you ever faced racism in a regiment? I said, yeah, I faced it. I said, it's like this, though. The regiment, special operations, special forces as a whole, it's not racist. I said, yeah, you're going to have those 1 or 2 boneheads, but you deal with those guys on an individual basis. You mark who your enemy is, and you know who they are. And so I never played the victim. They did this now. I never played the victim. I said, if it was so racist, I wouldn't be in the Ranger Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be in a distinguished member of the Ranger Training Brigade. None of these things would have happened. I said, I treat every Ranger as I wanted to be treated. And I said, you know what? Some of those Rangers who did me wrong, they come up to me to this day. A few of them did. And they said, Max, I am so sorry how I treated you. You know what I tell them? I said, bruh, that's the past, man. We were young. That's then. This is now. You're my Ranger brother. Yeah. Let's drive on to the future.
And that's you'll have individual guys coming from different
of course.
But I think what people get when they say, was there racism as far as making rank? No. If you were good and you met the standard, you exceeded the standard, and you were a good Ranger, you're going to make rank. When I was in the second time I went in, Max, the senior enlisted guy was Hugh Roberts. Debo. And he's black.
Me and Hugh, we served a second back together in company.
He did, and he said he's I don't know, you're probably about the same shade of black. You're pretty close. You really are. But that was a guy I looked at like, holy shit! I didn't see Black Sergeant Major Roberts. I saw Debo like, don't fuck with this guy. Because I was a private. I was like, dude, this is what I want to be. Is right here. And then you're also on the Latino side with Leon Guerrero and so forth.
He recruited me.
Yeah, see, and that's another one where guys are on the Latino, tons of Latinos. Yeah. Ian has a good point with that, but that's the beauty of pointing it out is, I think any unit or even any job at an individual level, there's going to be some form of discrimination, racism, so forth. And the beauty about Ranger Battalion, though, is if you just fuck that. Put that aside. Don't get into it. I'm just going to Ranger and continue to drive on and get better and better. You're going to be able to succeed and make rank and get promoted and so forth. And it doesn't make a difference if you're white, black, green, yellow.
It doesn't matter.
It matters. So
you know what I'm wondering though? Do you think there's an issue of just the lineage of guys who are in, you know, who do have the same skin color, same background? Because I'll give you an example here. Like, we've never had him on the show. We probably should. Navy SEAL Frumentarius. He's another guy who goes by his call sign. I don't think he uses his real name, but I believe, I could have this kind of wrong, I believe that not only is he a Navy SEAL, his son is a Navy SEAL. I know his dad was a Navy SEAL, and I believe his grandfather too. So it's almost like you see that here, even here in New York City with firefighters. It tends to look like a certain demographic because this guy's dad was New York City firefighter, and this guy's grandfather. And I wonder if there's an issue with reaching out to guys in minority communities. I mean, there are guys out there. I'm not saying there's not. Of course, there's Nick Irving and Jake Zwig and Remy Adeleke and all different types of guys who have served who are a minority. But by and large, you look at the special operations community, and it is a lot of white guys. And I think that if they had a more diverse background and not doing out of affirmative action type thing, keeping the same standards, but being able to reach out to guys who maybe don't know anything about the community. Yeah.
You can't force a person to volunteer for something.
Yeah.
You can't force a person. Right.
But do you think there's a lot of guys? What I'm wondering though is, do you think there's maybe black guys, Asian guys who don't even know anything about the Army Rangers? They haven't been exposed to it, maybe.
Well, see here now, you know, Chris can back me up on this. They know about it. You got YouTube, you got all, you know, it's out there. And one thing about the Rangers, and Chris can back me up on this, I can get on the phone right now. If I'm stranded, get on Facebook. Yeah, I'm here. I need some help. A Ranger will be there for me.
And that it makes no difference on the color or anything like that. I think getting it out there, be honest with you, Ian, on that sort of lineage thing, I think a lot of, if we broke it down into different ethnicities of services, I think a lot of those lineage, especially in the Latino community, they go to the Marine Corps. I'll be honest, I really see that. I see that. And you'll see a lot more where I think the Marine Corps does a better job. And Max, you know, if you agree with it or not, as far as recruiting, not just Ranger recruiting, because Ranger we do our own thing, but the Marines do such a great job on recruiting. I think they reach the inner cities. I think they reach the different ethnicities better than the Army ever could. And as far as Rangers go, Rangers don't do their own recruiting videos. We're just part of we're just part of Army Strong, right? So you know, with the Rangers itself, is it not knowing? I don't think that's an excuse anymore. Maybe back in the day it was, because the only reason I knew about the Rangers is because I read about it in a book. It wasn't Black Hawk Down. That wasn't out yet. None of that. But nowadays, I they
don't have an excuse.
I don't think.
See, the people got to look also that you had the 555th Triple Nickel, all black, but airborne battalion that served during World War II, but they never fought. But they pioneered all the smoke jumping techniques. That we see today. Then you had the Second Ranger Company, the first and only all-black Ranger Company that served during the Korean War. And when they disbanded, a lot of them went to the 187th Regiment Combat Team and jumped into Moon-Sa-Ni. And so the Black American has been part of the special operation. Even one of the first combat halo jump into Vietnam was done by a Black Special Forces man. I think it's Melvin Morris, I believe his name is.
Well, and that's the thing is too, is also when people have asked about 13 hours and just put this in there. You know, Boone is black. I don't know if people know that. Boone is. But it made no difference to us. You know, I'm Mexican, and Pablo has a Mexican name, but Pablo Schreiber's whiter than anything. He's Canadian. He's whiter than white. He's white as hell. But we didn't care because it didn't make a difference on the color. We didn't give a shit. The guy that plays Boone in the movie, actually his personality, Dave Denman's personality is spot on. That's what I was looking for. Pablo's personality is spot on. It didn't make a difference on color. And I didn't give a shit back when we were in too. I don't know, Max. Like I said, Max, I go to war with Max in a heartbeat. I don't see a Black Ranger. I see a fucking badass son of a bitch that, hey, we're going in the door, dude, but you're going first because you're bigger than me. So you're going in the door first. I'll come behind you. I got your back.
Oh man, I love you, brother.
It's a good question. It deserves explanation because in the society today, everything can be so racist where there's not. It may look that way, but it's not at all. I never saw. You never saw.
No, but I understand how it could look that way because it's also like you look at the guest list of who we have on, and of course it's not like we say let's have a bunch of white guys on. It ends up being that way just because at least in the public figure sphere that's what it's like. But I wanted to jump into something else, which kind of leads into this from what we were saying. You were telling me this prior. You had 3 action figures made.
Yeah.
Which I know in a previous episode we said there were never any 13 hours action figures when we talked about Comic-Con.
And are they anatomically correct? Are they
anatomically correct? Not a Ken doll, but an action figure. Articulation.
Yeah, no, I would never say a doll. Action figure. But you were telling me you are the first action figure of a Black American, not based off a fictional character, based off of a real life person.
Yes.
How did that go, dude? How did it go down? I mean, how did it all go, and how did it happen? And yeah, how can everybody get one anatomically correct Q Mad Max action figure for their set of action figures?
That was crazy. Well, I was involved with Milsim Airsoft, and that's a different story right there. Milsim Airsoft, right? I would go out as a VIP to these events, and so. The guys used to roll with me. They had this company called Sideshow Toys, had these high-end action figures they made, like Avenger themed and so forth like that. But during that time, they were doing the Civil War theme, and so they were doing the one on the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, Glory with Denzel Washington and stuff. And so they said, "Hey, Max, we'd like to use your likeness for our Civil War figure." I said, "Hell yeah, let's do it!" Right? Dude, hell yeah. And so, they send the pictures of my head and stuff like that. And then a good friend of mine, John Luke, contacted me and said, "Mac, they want to do action figure of you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't do it." I said, "Dude, it's an action figure." He said, "Don't do it."
Don't do it.
I said, "Why?" He said, "Number one is that, what are you getting out of it?" "Oh, I'm getting this speed out." He said, "Number one, if they were to use Denzel Washington, they would have to pay Sony Pictures, right? Then had to pay him for his likeness, had to pay all these licensing fees. What you getting out of it? Crickets, right?" He said, "I'll take care of it." He said, "Okay, you take care of it." And so then this other company wanted to do one of me. So it was a 1997, it was a 90s Ranger, right? Action figure. And it was a limited edition. I believe it was something like 600 figures. And it just exploded. It exploded. And it was one of the top figures that was made, because a lot of the companies back then, like Dragon, a lot of their African American type figures, you could tell, man, Black folks don't look like that. That's you can tell. That's dude, we don't look like that. It's
like what, Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder, Tropic Thunder with the black.
What the hell is this? I said, no, heck no. And so when they did it, I was kind of shocked. I was humbled that they approached me, and it just exploded, and it just took off from there. And it was one of the top action figures in Asia. It was one of the top action figures in Asia and so forth. And so then they said, "Hey, we want to do another one of you, right?" And I said, "Isn't one enough?" So they did a 90s Mad Max action figure, right? And that was a limited edition, and it just exploded.
Which is the one that had all the gear, the night vision, the helmet? I saw that one. Actually, Shannon showed me the picture of that one.
Yeah, both of them have full kit, and the action figures now are just incredible detailed, all the way down to, you can see the bullets in the magazines. High. These are high end, highly detailed, and so those so crazy, and they sold out. And I saw one on eBay for something like $200, and
so cool.
And so then another company approached me. They did the action figure. It was really good, but it was never really pushed out. But to have, so they presented me the Sasso Toys gave me the one and only, the prototype model of the Civil War figure. They gave me that. But the other two were they were high end, high detailed, and it was very humbling. And
I mean, it's amazing what run. Yeah, it's amazing what they do with figures now. I mean, these are not the figures I grew up with his kids, or even you guys grew up with his kids. You know, everything is super detailed now. So that's amazing. I do have to ask you about this. I mean, this is a major thing to ask you about. I don't know how much longer we have you. If you have to go at any time, just let us know. But what was it like all these years after service? I assume getting that phone call in 2013 to say, Mr. Mullen, we want to award you to the Ranger Hall of Fame. And put you in with all these guys who you spoke of that you served with, who were legends in the community.
I tell you something, it's one of the most humbling experiences. One of the highest honors in my life, besides the birth of my daughter, my children. But to receive that phone call, and whenever they say you're going to the Hall of Fame, you never feel that you're worthy. You never feel, that you're worthy to be amongst those legends in the Ranger Hall of Fame. And when I got that call, I will never forget it. And to stand up there on stage, you look to your left, you look to your right, you see Merrill's Marauders, you see guys you've read about up on the stage, you get inducted with these men. And so my Ranger Hall of Fame message was about unity. It was about the Ranger brotherhood. And I ended this. I said, there's only one color that we see in the Ranger Battalion. I said, we're all one color. I mean, we're all two colors. And I said, it's black and gold with the half moon shape. That's what I ended it with, because we're brothers. And to see my other brothers get inducted to the Ranger Hall of Fame, one of the highlights of my life. One of the highlights.
That's huge, dude. I mean, that's. To me, that's probably the most respectful thing that I believe, and I not even covet. I don't care about coveting it. Just guys that I look up to still, and to this day, is guys like yourself, man. Because I think every day we're still trying to get better, and to me, that's who I'm trying to get better to be, is guys like that. Which excelled and made it into that elite fraternity of the Hall of Fame. I mean, being a Ranger is just elite enough, but to get into that's even, the group gets smaller and smaller, and it's well deserved. And like I said, you were still the nicest, most humble guy. I know guys look at him; he looks intimidating as hell. Yeah, and he could probably still put his fist through your face, and it's going to come out the back of your head. But when you talk to him, guys, like, you're just the nicest guy in the world. Always smiling, always friendly. Always just, hey man, what's going on? Sort of guy. You haven't changed. At least I don't think you've ever changed a bit. And since I first met you, which was 6 years ago, it was a while ago. But brother, it's amazing story, and gotten some RI stuff. But I think we touched on most everything. I just want to make sure, what do you have out there? Because I know you're a public speaker. You're a great public speaker. But what do you have coming up? Is there stuff you want to push out there? Everybody should, if you have a chance to see Max speak, he get in your face, man. He gets motivated. If you're in the front row, you're going to be like SeaWorld with Shamu. You're going to, not that he's going to spit all over you, but he's going to be right. You're in the action.
Man, you too kind, brother.
Definitely. But yeah, tell everybody what you got coming up. If you got some public speaking events that they can see you, I always tell them, go see Max speak if you ever have a chance, and whatever else you have on the horizon.
Again, I'm a board member of the Silent Warrior Foundation.
Yep.
And we have what we call Whiskey and War Stories, where we bring the people who were part of history and they share their story, and it's a fundraiser. And last year we hosted the Sante Raiders.
Okay.
And we raised over $207,000.
Wow. And
it goes to our special operation warriors who really need help. We have the service dogs, and it's an awesome organization. And next year we're going to host Operation Gambit, the rescue of Kurt Muse.
Okay.
After Gambit, we're hosting that next year. I'll be going down to Dallas, Texas, in October. It's in October, and I'll be speaking at the Gallant Few.
Okay, with
Expo.
Carl with Mongers.
Carl Mongers.
Yeah, great organization.
And Mike Schlitz, their organization that works with that.
Great people.
So that's it. They're having theirs, and is it in Dallas or is it in Fort Worth?
I'm sorry, Fort Worth.
It's in Fort Worth, and that's in October. So yeah, if you got is that open, or is that a closed event, or can people come and buy tickets for it? Do you know by any chance?
I'm not sure. If you go to the Gallant the Gallant Warrior website, they have information on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Gallant Few website.
Yeah, I believe gallantview.org.
Right.
Yep. That's it. That's dude. Outstanding. And like I said, you're amazing, bro. I really, and we'll link up again. If SHOT Show's this year, I'm sure I'll see you down there, even though I hate going to that damn thing. But that's
it'll be fun, man. I want to go to SHOT Show this year. And next year. I haven't gone in a long time. You know what I've told you I want to get on that guy John Bartolo's podcast, who has that amazing studio with all the guns there. I want to see that. I want to get him on here just so that we could go see that. I have a bunch of stuff in mind, so I'll be there in Vegas, man.
Hey, one last thing from me, and then I'll turn over to Ian here and finish this up. But hey, when you have the fundraisers for the Silent War, you call it the Silent Warriors. That's what it's called, correct?
Silent Warrior Foundation, right? Go to our website, Silent Warrior Foundation.
Where do you usually hold? Is it at the same city every year? Is it down in Fort Benning? Is it Columbus? Where's it?
We have it in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the Scottsdale Resort. Right. You also go visit our Facebook, all right, our Silent Warrior Foundation Facebook, and also our website for more information. We have silent auctions, and we do amazing things for our veterans. And also, I'm a board member on the Ranger Memorial and Scholarship Foundation, and I'm working with them. And I'll tell you, if you have a chance to go to Fort Bend to visit the Ranger Memorial, it represents all eras, and we need some help. We need people to give some donations because it's probably funded, even though it's on Fort Benning, and for repairs and cleanup, because everything's self-funded. The base has nothing to do with it, and we really need some help. This is our foundation, our memorial.
Max, I mean, 14th hour. We'll give him. I just need the 501c3 paperwork, and we'll get you $5,000, dude.
Oh wow!
I'd love to. I mean, that's part of my. And then just me personally giving money out of my own pocket. I didn't know the memorial. I've never been reached out. So just you've got my number to text me and let me know what we need to do, and we'll get the money. We'll get the money to you. Because that thing needs to be held. I mean, I remember when it was first built, and I saw it when it was first built, and it was beautiful. I haven't been back and seen it probably in 3 years, so I hope it's not going into disarray and just because it's a beautiful memorial out there.
Yeah, because Brigadier General Stringham, Ranger Hall of Fame, Special Forces legend, he is the president of it, and I'll tell you, I would die for that man. Brigadier General Stringham is fabulous. He had the passion for this memorial, and we really need some help. And I really appreciate you reaching out, Chris, and anybody out there who like to help the foundation. We are more than we could be more than happy to receive your gifts. How do they
donate, brother?
You can go to the Ranger Memorial website, and we're going to do a lot of updates and things like that. So I'll put the information out because we're trying to rearrange things, get these things to happen.
Okay.
But you can really use some help, and I really appreciate it, Chris.
Oh, of course, man.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, there's so much other stuff I'd like to get into with you. We will definitely do a part 2 at some point. I don't want to end on this note, but I feel like it would be wrong not to ask you, even though this is going to air really on the 13th, and we're recording this on the 3rd. So there may be updates in this area before I put it up. I'm sure people just want to hear you as an Army Ranger and a legend in the community. Just any feelings you have on Afghanistan. I know, like I said, I don't want to end it on this because I know it is a negative for a lot of guys, but people are probably interested in hearing your thoughts on what's going on there in the chaos.
I'm just going to say this. We don't leave Americans behind.
Yeah.
Period. We don't leave Americans behind.
Dude, that's enough said. You don't need to say anything other than that, and that's as simple as that. I got nothing.
Well, and I'll also
Chris,
check out.
Chris would move heaven and earth. Chris would have moved. He moved heaven and earth to defend his brothers in Benghazi.
Well, and that's what you do. And in Afghanistan, I'm currently trying to get a terp out right now that serve with me over there, and there's Americans left over there, and I know what my opinion is, but maybe me and Ian will do a show where it's just me and him talking about it, so we don't, because I don't want to end up on a negative either.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do a show like that and get some other guys who served in Afghanistan on here, because I want to hear everybody's feelings on this issue and what's going on, and from guys who are actually there, not just talking heads on the news. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But also check out, I should say, and we would have liked to have gotten further into this, of course, TacSim Media Group, tacticalmilsim.com, which is where you work. And you know what? If I have one last question, unless you want to expand upon that at all, as Chris said, you were a guy for your age or not for your age who is still in amazing shape. Like, what is your workout?
What's your secret, brother?
Wondering.
Bro. You got to invest in yourself, and I'm just going to say this: a lot of people get out. A lot of our brothers, they retire and stuff, and they don't give up. They just give up. And I tell you, it's not about looking good now. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it turned into a lifestyle, and I try and keep myself in shape, because if my country ever needs to call, you break glass in case of emergency, I'll be ready to roll.
It is that making it a lifestyle makes it that way. It's saying you missing a workout or missing a run or something when I've got to do it on days, just like if I missed a meal, it feels just like, man, I forgot something. I got to go get this done. And no, you're here to, and how many years young are you? What are you, 22? Just tell everybody how old you are. So when we post this picture of you, I want people to see, I want to see you tell them how, so they have no excuse to not get off their butt and go get in shape. But how old are you, brother?
63.
Some bitch is 63 and he's still jacked, man. I'm like, holy, yeah. So nobody has any excuse out there not to be in good shape. And man, Max, we'll get you back on, dude. We will. We'll do a part 2 with you, and we'll have you on again.
I got some stories for part 2. It's gonna blow your mind, man. My life is,
we gotta do
my
it.
life is drama on steroids.
Yeah, we get it. We'll get you on again, bro.
We'll definitely do it. I know we've been saying that to a lot of guys on the show, but yeah, we will. Now that we're 100 episodes in, we could bring some people back on. But Master Sergeant, it's been a total honor having you on, and thank you for coming on with us. Thank you for all you've done for the country, and I really think people are going to dig this as episode 100.
Man, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot, Ian, for the invite. And Chris, my brother, man, it's so good to talk to you.
You too,
link back up, man. You are, let me tell you something, man. You are the epitome of a hero. No, brother, hear me out. And I tell you, you're inspiring the next generation. You're inspiring the next generation. That's what it's about. I mean, back then, my heroes was like you're reading Robin Moore's book on special forces and things like that. But your books, you're inspiring the next generation, man. So, brother, keep doing what you're doing, man. I love you. Man.
Well, I'm just doing what you guys taught. All I'm doing is what you all before me. This is what you do. So you set the example. So I appreciate it. I'm just carrying the torch, and I'm 50, so I'm about ready to hand the torch off again, because it's time for me to start chilling. I'm getting old, man. So, but thanks, man. And that means a lot coming from you, brother. I admire the hell out of you, and I still look up to you, man. So I appreciate it.
Man, thank you, Chris.
All right. God bless you.
Follow me on Instagram.
I'm following you already, so I already got you. What's your Instagram handle? You tell everybody out there what is it again, because you got to follow Max on Instagram.
Okay, it's MAAX_. You see it. You can't miss it.
You can't miss it.
No, I have to pull it, because I'll be honest. I didn't even know that you were on Instagram, and I figured you being your age, a lot of guys your age are like, fuck all this.
No, dude, he
crap. So
look at the guy that makes Lee Haney look small. That's the guy that you want to follow right there.
I'm trying to find it, and I want to. So wait, it's M.
I got. Hey Max, hold on. I got you. I'll pull mine because I follow you, dude. I do. I got you. Actually, all I got to search is Hugh Max Mullen, and it's going to.
Oh, I see. So it's just Max_Mullen, but with 2 N's at the end. Max,
Roger.
Right? That's the correct one. Max _MULLENN. I'm of course going to follow you on my personal page and also Battleline podcast. But thank you so much. This was a home run for episode 100. Truly.
Thank you so much.
Take care, bro. We'll talk to you later, bro. All right. God bless you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
That's all for this episode of the Battleline podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk. Until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Battleline Podcast and on Twitter at Battleline Pod. To sign up for future Battleline tactical courses, go to www.christantoperanto.net. Believe in yourself, face all challenges head on, and as always, never quit.